We've got the living daylights and a license to kill it. My rankings for this go like that. I love License to Kill. I appreciate the living daylights, but never fully enjoyed that film. So that would be a very quick ranking video. Well, I thought we'd, since there's only two Dalton films, I thought we'd, elaborate on License to Kill. So I've been re-ranking the Bond films. And if I added License to Kill and The Living Daylights to those re-rankings so far, from the Connery era to Lazenby's One Hit Wonder to the Moore era, in 11th place is The Living Daylights, just missing out the top 10. And I would have to place License to Kill as my third favourite Bond film so far in these rankings. We haven't got to Brosnan yet, we haven't got to Daniel Craig yet. Spoilers for those two videos, I don't really like a lot of those films and those specific eras, but License to Kill was like, it felt like a very 80s action Bond film that featured Bond instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or Mel Gibson, which I liked because I loved those Die Hard, Lethal Weapons, Commando type films. And it was great to see the James Bond character in one of those of his own. And the actress, what's her name again? Let's see. The writing's look how small that writing is. Really, to me, that's really small, that writing. Robert I'm not sure how you pronounce his. He plays Sanchez in this movie, the main villain, Robert Levi. I'm butchering his name. Anyways, he's on it fully. Not to mention politics or anything, but I like him even more now because he's on a Trump train. But not to mention politics at all. This is a James Bond escapism video. I try and find this actress's name. I've got both my lenses in. I can't make out her name. I think it's Carrie Lowell, the one that gets a haircut in the film. She goes from that kind of crappy bob look to a very attractive short-haired look, and she. I know I'm going to get a lot of abuse for this, or a lot of laughter for this. Her and Denise Richards are my two favorite Bond women. Nothing to do with looks, all to do with acting ability. But Pam, her character name is Pam in this movie, and she's a really great character, very good Bond woman, and I want to marry her. Moving on, it's a different type of feel, this Bond movie. You go from the happy, the over-the-top Bond in space, pigeon double take Bond Roger Moore era, to that shark just basically ate Felix Leiter, like what? And then the bad guy goes up in flames, and it's more like a Die Hard feel than a typical Bond feel, but it's good. And definitely, so far my rankings, my third favorite Bond film, and I've always anytime I go to rewatch the Bond films, I always look forward. I never need to be in the mood for it. It's one of those Bond films I can just put on and enjoy, and I feel like, whereas in The Living Daylights, Timothy Dalton was very solid in his role in that film, but still felt like a Roger Moore-esque Bond. John Glenn directs License to Kill too, but it felt more made for a Roger Moore Bond. License to Kill feels like what should be like a Timothy Dalton Bond film, and it is one of my favourites of the series.